Hey there guys, welcome back. Today we are covering one of the brand new pre-con commanders from aetherdrift, Hashaton the Scarab's Fist. Out of the gate, it is a pretty competitive commander. It can be pretty casual, but the competitive players are loving it. So we are black, white and blue in our color identity for a 2 mana for a 1/3 zombie wizard with, whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 3. If you do, create a tap token that's a copy of that card except it's a 4/4 black zombie. So basically it's a triggered ability every time we discard a card. He sees the card being discarded, he doesn't care if it goes to the graveyard, so in a way avoids graveyard hate, he just needs to see it going there. And we're going to try and bypass high converted mana costs and just cheat things in for 3 mana. Pretty broken for an Esper deck. Okay, not an actual deck, but everyone's talking about it on the competitive scene, is Lion Eyes Diamond. So 0 mana artifact, you can sacrifice it, you discard your hand, and you add 3 of any one color to your pool. Your commander loves this so much. Too bad it's $400 and it's on the reserve list. Because basically you discard your hand, which commander sees you discarding these creatures, you have 3 mana from the diamond, which is what you need to activate your commander's ability, and you just create / cheat in a free creature, and hopefully it's game winning. Lieutenants of the deck, which they actually include in the pre-con, are the Scarab God and Temet. So Scarab God, an oldie but a goodie, so at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life and you scry X where X number of zombies you control, plus for 4 mana you can steal things from the graveyard, animate them as 4/4 black zombies. Great for getting a lot of ETB effects. Plus when he dies, he goes back to your hand at the end of the turn. Temet, the new version, has Vigilance and Menace, and whenever you attack, you draw a card, discard a card, which our commander cares about, of course. Plus whenever you draw a card, zombies get +1/+1 to end the turn. Every token a commander makes is a zombie. Okay, there's a combo in the deck a lot of people are talking about, and it works really well with this commander. Hoarding Broodlord. It's an 8 mana dragon that can basically tutor for a card underneath it, and you cast it as long as it's in exile. You cheat in the Hoarding Broodlord with the commander for 3 mana, not 8. You go and get Saw in Half and put it under the dragon. You cast Saw in Half on the dragon to make 2 more copies of the dragon, the 2 tokens, into the battlefield, and you get to tutor for 2 more cards to exile underneath them. Now you got 2 options here. You can go Sacrifice, which is 1 mana instant, which you sacrifice the creature and convert it back to mana, which would be 8 mana. And then you get Peer into the Abyss for 7 mana, which lets you draw half your library and you lose half your life. Or you go Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Consultation and do the freebie win through that. Honestly, with Peer into the Abyss and Sacrifice, you're probably going to get the combo anyway. Or, drawing half your deck and Commander, you're probably going to find a win somewhere. Really easy combo, all the cards are good on their own, standalone in the deck, except for probably Demonic Consultation. Everything else you can use in the deck fine. In terms of token production for our commander with all these hyper efficient creatures we're making, Mondrak is insane. You can double token production of all these good creatures, plus it can become indestructible itself. If you make it a token, it's hard to track. Nesting Dovehawk can get out of hand, especially if the Nesting Dovehawk you make is a zombie token through your commander, because then it can start populating itself again and again, and it just gets really out of hand with all these population triggers. Renewed Solidarity, just name zombie, zombies get +1/+0, plus every your end step, for each token you created of that chosen type, create a copy of it, so your commander's tokens and all zombies, you're making more and more. So, the things that we want to cheat in and not pay the original mana cost. It's kind of pick what you like, your favourite big dumb creatures that are game winning. Elish Norn, having a 4-point difference in power toughness across the board when she drops, giving all your opponent's creatures -2/-2 can clear out the board pretty well. Jin, he's insane. The fact he resets your hand back up to 7, your opponent's hand size gets reduced by 7. If he sticks a whole rounder across the table, you're probably going to win the game. Avacyn, if you get to cheat her out with your commander, that's game winning right there. Having an indestructible board state probably locks you in. I love Ulamog in here. It's a little bit of a weird interaction. You don't get the cast trigger because you're cheating it in. He's indestructible with Annihilator 4, but when he goes into a graveyard, you shuffle your graveyard back into your library. Your commander only needs to see it being discarded before it gets to the graveyard. So you could have yourself a 4/4 Ulamog running around that's indestructible and Annihilator 4. The idea is you get him out earlier on, your opponent can't really deal with that much pressure. Void Winnower, just making it hard for your opponent to cast certain things and block with certain things, kinda can screw up the game for a lot of people. And then the brand new Valgavoth, he lets you basically steal your opponent's spells by casting with life instead of mana. If they're going to the graveyard, they get exiled and he just kind of takes them away. Esper Sentinel's really funny. Whenever your opponent casts their first non-creature spell, unless they pay extra, you get to draw a card. In Commander, that's a lot of spells, and because he gets upscaled thanks to your commander, he's a 4/4 zombie. People are not going to pay 4 mana to stop you drawing 1 card. So he's kind of like a budget-ristic study really for this commander. So discarding themes. Tortured Existence is hands down, I think, the best card in this deck. It's a 1 mana enchantment that has pay 1, choose and discard a creature card, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. For 1 mana, you swap a creature from your hand and the graveyard, and just keep doing it. Your commander loves this because you can just keep reanimating and making copies of certain creatures. Your commander sees them going to the graveyard, pay the 3 mana again, make another copy, make another copy. Best card in the deck by far. In terms of other ways to discard, we've got a lot of cheap mana cost options here. We want them out nice and early before our commander, so we can kind of curve into it really well. The 2 Mystic gives all our creatures cycling, so they become card advantage, and by paying the commander's ability, we can make copies of them. Ghostly Pilferer and Psychic Frog are just unlimited with no cost to discard. Rona is card advantage with discard, plus it's only 1 activation being tapped. And if it does get to transform, it's a bit of an annoying thing to deal with. Putrid Imp, Tireless Tribe, and Oblivion Crown are just ways to constantly spam discard with no cost. Likeness Looter has a slower discard because it's draw and then discard for tapping, but by paying X and become a copy of a creature in our graveyard. Mid-late game, copying things like Elesh Norn or Jin again, really good. Then we've got Underworld Cookbook, Collector's Vault, Key to City, and the Grimoire of the Dead are all ways to discard cards by tapping these basically. They've got little pros and cons to them. Grimoire of the Dead, after 3 activations, getting 3 counters on it, you can steal everything from the graveyards in terms of creatures. You know, pretty game ending right there. And then Lily, the fact +1 each player discards a card, we care about that for ourselves and we get to attack opponent's hand. She can make people sacrifice things, and if you get to ultimate her, that's probably game winning too. General supporting cards. We're not going too hard into zombie theme, but zombie cards that do really help. Gleaming Overseer gives you zombie tokens, Hexproof and Menace. If you make the Overseer a copy through Commander, giving himself Hexproof is really handy. Cleaver Scab, paying 3 and tap, you can chop a zombie in half and create 2 copies of that zombie. Everything your commander makes is a zombie, so this guy can make 2 more versions of everything else. Zombie Master gives all our zombies Swamp Walk, which could be nice, but mainly pay 1 black, regenerate this permanent. It makes it harder for your opponent to kill our copies that we are caring about. And because the things are going to the graveyard, and our commanders making copies of them, the original is still in the graveyard, we can reanimate them. So reanimate, animate dead, and the brand new Curse Cloth wrappings all let us reanimate our zombies from the graveyard. Well, Oversold Cemetery, if there's a few creatures in the graveyard, we can start returning them back to our hand each upkeep, lets us discard them again to copy them with our commander. Archfiend of Ifnir, every time we discard or cycle, so really discard here, we get to put 1/1 counters on our opponent's type board state. With enough going on, that will just keep their board state in check. Diabolic Intent is a tutor for anything you need, either a board wipe or go and get yourself that big dumb dragon to set up the combo. Lightning Grease and Mithril Coat, just protection for commander. Got a bit of draw to try and get through the deck quicker. Ristic Studies, it's pretty strong. This deck's already getting expensive, so I don't feel bad adding it here. Preordain, Jig's Probe, and Brainstorm are just cheap cantrips for the deck. Removal, can't take what you like, but I've got cheap counterspells to protect our commander early on, so an offer you can't refuse, Swan Song and Counterspell feel pretty good. And then we've got Mortify, Anguish Unmaking, Path to Exile, and Source to Plowshare, just efficient kind of catch-all removal. Wrath the God and Blast Edict are our board wipes, they're cheap and they're efficient enough for what we want to do. In terms of mana, I've gone for all the cheap mana rocks, Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, and our 3 talismans. In addition, Wayfarer's Bauble to get a basic land out of the deck, thin it down, and Gilded Lotus for 3 of any 1 colour, because that's what we need to activate our commander's ability, just kind of helps with that expensive cost. The only tech lands are really to cover. Duneyard is brand new, but it can, for 2 mana and tap, can give our commander regenerate, which we care about. Riptide Lab can bounce our commander back to our hand because he is a wizard too, so opponents try and remove him, board wipe, and we don't have to keep paying that command attack, just bounce him back. Unholy Grotto can put a zombie from your graveyard to top of your library. We don't have that many individual zombies, but again, if your commander goes to the graveyard, if you choose to send it there, you can start returning it that way. Wreck Tower, because if you do some greedy land draw through one of the combos, you might want to keep your hand size, up to you. Then Spymaster's Vault, Cephalid Colosseum, and the Guy Reach Sanitarium are all lands that can make us discard cards, which we might need mid-late game and our commander cares about. All the lands are down below in the deck list, just kind of pick whatever land base you want to do at your budget level. I've gone shock lands, fetch lands, slow lands, buddy lands, just things to kind of cover all. So that is Hashaton. He's a bit insane. The fact it's bypassing high converted mana cost of spells, you cheat them in really for 3 mana. He really cares about ETB effects because, you know, you're just creating copies and you can do it again and again. I like the fact that he can kind of avoid graveyard hate in a weird interaction because he just needs to see it. He doesn't care when it's in the graveyard. Really cool commander. He's cheap, he's early, he's aggressive. Definitely combo heavy. The competitive players are really liking him. I would like to see him built as just a casual zombie tribal and just go full into reanimating and embalming more and more zombies. Alright, let me know your thoughts. Thank you to my patrons so much for your support. Please like the video and give it a sub. We are going for 5k. We're doing really well lately. Really appreciating all the support, guys. And have a good one. I'll see you guys later.